And joining me now is Dwane Cates, defense attorney and certified specialist in criminal law. Dwane, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
And Dwane, we are hearing these gruesome details both yesterday and then today in testimony of the way that these children died. How are these details impacting the jury?
Well, it's going to have a big impact on them. I mean, one of the things that prosecutors like to do in homicide trials is to get the jury to not like the defendant in the case. And one way they do that is they show the gruesome nature of the killing, and they also can use that at sentencing later for sentencing enhancement purposes. So, this is going to have a big impact. They run a little risk of, if they do too much of it, to desensitize the jury to it. But generally speaking, this has big impact on jurors.
And our Ashley Banfield actually spoke with the realtor who sold Lori Vallow's condo. Let's take a listen quickly to what he said.
Really, it was from the second I walked through that door, there was just a dark, the only way I can describe it is just a very evil feeling. Almost kind of makes the hairs on your neck stand up. Almost like you're in a dark room and there's a creepy person standing behind you. I mean, that was kind of the vibe that was in there, and it really took me off guard. I mean, that was not what I was expecting when I walked in there at all.
Obviously this is not admissible in court, but tell me about the uphill battle for the defense at this point. How can her attorneys change this perception of her as evil that's being painted by prosecutors?
Well, what they're going to have to do is point the finger at somebody else, that it's not her. She's not the evil one. Her husband's the evil one. And but for him, none of this would have happened. And that's the only shot she has in this. And you are right. The realtor's comments will never come into court because they're speculation and they're his opinion about how he felt. And that's not relevant in this case. But she's got to point the finger at her husband. That's all she can do.
I do want to turn quickly with the time we have to the murder of the 4 college students in Idaho and the Bryan Kohberger case. We know one of the roommates who survived the attack has now agreed to sit down with the suspect's attorneys. What do you think their play is here?
Well, they're going to try to get every bit of information they can out of them because the person was there when this happened, and they've said they believe that the witness has exculpatory evidence, and so they're going to do a very thorough interview. And I was glad to see that they work it out. I mean, serving subpoenas in other states sometimes can be a little tricky, but it happened like it should have. They worked it all out. They're going to do a thorough interview of this witness, and this witness may be a key witness in the case.
I do want to ask you about one more topic that we're tracking. Disgraced tech CEO Elizabeth Holmes. She filed an 11th hour appeal to keep her out of prison for now. Do you think there is any chance that Holmes gets out of this for good, or is this just a delay tactic?
Well, I think it's kind of like changing deck chairs on the Titanic. The ship's going to go down. It just depends on when and what her view of it is. And it's just a short temporary reprieve right now while they decide on her motion to leave her out during the appeal, because appeals can take years. And so, she said, I didn't get a fair chance the first time I filed this motion, and she wants the Court of Appeals to look at it. And so we're at the point now where they're going to decide whether they want to leave her out or whether she has to go in and wait. Most people have to wait it out in jail.
Okay. Defense attorney Dwane Cates, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.